Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released a ton of different updates, along with new AirPods firmware updates that enable some of the new features with iOS 17. So I thought we'd go over how you can update, how to check if they're updated, and also talk about what's new. Now the first thing is Apple released iOS 17 RC. Make sure you're updating to that if you want to try out the new features. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until Monday, where Apple's planning to release iOS 17 to the public. That's on Monday the 18th, usually around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Now with this update, another thing to know is there's 3 different versions of firmware depending on which device you're actually using. So for the AirPods first generation, it's version 6.8.8, AirPods second and third generation, along with AirPods Pro first generation and AirPods Max, have version 6A300. And then finally, AirPods Pro 2 get their own firmware, version 6A301. Now, Apple also released a new case for these today with USB-C. It launches next Friday, so that will be available with iPhone 15 models as well. But this firmware, in order to check for the update, go ahead and connect your AirPods to your iPhone. Once they're connected, go into your settings, go into your AirPods menu here, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the latest version of 6A301. This particular update is the latest for AirPods Pro 2, and one thing is if you're trying to update them, typically you can just set them nearby and they'll update. What I typically do is I'll take them out after they're connected, I'll listen to a song for about 30 seconds to a minute, then I'll place them back in, set them down just like this, lock them, and then it continues to update. And then I'll check it again in about 5 to 15 minutes and it will be updated. It worked seamlessly for me. Let's also check the AirPods 3 as I just tried it with them. Give it a second to unlock there. We're connected. And also we'll go in here and then scroll down. This one has not updated yet, so we'll have to try and do that in the future, but that shows you how it's actually not updated. Again, just put them nearby. They'll update on their own. Usually they have to be charged above 50% or so at this point for that to happen. Now, also one other thing to note is if you've been using the latest beta version of it and you still want to install this latest update, what I had to do in order for that to work is disable the beta before they would update. If you're a beta tester with the AirPods, go down to your developer menu. Under Developer, scroll down until you see the menu you had to enable it with pre-release beta firmware. Make sure you disable this. Turn that off, then you can update them like normal. They worked fine for me after that and updated quickly, but I could not get them to update with that enabled. Of course, if there's future firmware updates for beta testers, that will be enabled as well. Now, the new features pertain mostly to AirPods Pro 2, but there's some for the other AirPods as well, but we'll go over them one by one. Now, let me go ahead and connect my AirPods Pro 2. Once they're connected, we'll go into our settings. And you may have already noticed we have some new options here. So of course we have transparency and noise cancellation, but there's a new adaptive audio option as well. This is something that can adapt to your surroundings based on what's going on. So maybe you're walking down the street and there's a car horn or something like that. It will let some of that audio through so you can actually hear what's going on. The same is true for a new feature called Conversational Awareness. If I scroll down, you'll see here we have Conversational Awareness, which does the same thing. So when you start speaking, it actually pauses whatever you're doing and will let you speak. And I can demonstrate that if I put these in my ear. And when it's playing audio, if I go into the control center and press on volume, you'll see I have Conversational Awareness on. Now it actually dips the volume in the background as it's doing right now until I stop speaking, then it will bring it back up. In certain scenarios, if you're watching a movie, it can pause the movie as well. So this is a really helpful feature that just makes it a little bit better as far as pausing your audio or helping you pay attention to what's going on around you. If we go back into the menu and scroll down, you'll see we also have a new feature called Personalized Volume. This adjusts the volume of media in response to your environment. This works along with Conversational Awareness and also that new adaptive transparency and noise cancellation, reducing sounds overall based on what's around you in your environment. So they work pretty well, but unfortunately are not available on any of the other AirPods. Also a new feature we saw today, mentioned in some some of the notes is that the AirPods Pro 2 will also work with lossless audio on Apple Vision Pro. Why they don't bring this to more iPhones, I'm not sure. Maybe it has to do with the chipset internally, or maybe we will see this a little bit later on. But that's something that's specific to AirPods Pro 2, along with the features I've mentioned already. So unfortunately, AirPods Max and all of the others don't get any of those features for some reason. You would think the most expensive AirPods would, but maybe it doesn't have the chipset in it to actually do that. However, this update does add convenience and control features, according to Apple, with mute and unmute. So this is a call control option where you can just press the stem and then mute or unmute a call. This has an option for press once or press twice. That's available on AirPods 3rd Gen, AirPods Pro 1st and 2nd Gen, and AirPods Max. Unfortunately, it's not available on the original AirPods, but it is available on the ones I've mentioned. Additionally, all AirPods are significantly improved when it comes to automatic switching. This is definitely true. I've been using this with iOS 17, iPadOS 17, and macOS Sonoma, and the switching is just immediate. If I'm listening on my iPad and then I switch over to my iPhone, you can see it's playing there. We'll just switch over to the iPhone, press play. It immediately jumps. You can see the animation change on the iPhone, and it's playing from there. You'll see it's already moved to iPhone according to the iPad. It works seamlessly, and also all of the features with conversational awareness are already working and dipped the volume in the background as I'm speaking. So that transitioning back and forth between devices is very seamless and much better. Also, a couple things to note is it seems like there's deeper bass on AirPods Pro 2 since the previous firmware, not the previous beta firmware, but previous public firmware. Also, transparency and noise canceling seem to work pretty well. However, it's hard to judge that without specific tools, but they seem to work as intended, especially with conversational awareness. The other AirPods seemingly are pretty much the same. I haven't noticed much of a difference there. One thing I would like to see in the future, though, which I'm surprised Apple didn't add with iOS 17, is the ability for it just to update with a button. Connect your AirPods, it should be able to check just like you can on your iPhone. So that's something I'd like to see in the future. Unfortunately, they didn't add that with iOS 17. So we get a lot of nice features with iOS 17 and the new AirPods firmware update. Again, iOS 17 will be out on the 18th. So you can update these now if you're running iOS 17 betas or the release candidate, and you should have all of those features finally. So let me know if you found anything else, noticed any other differences. If you're using the beta, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Or if you're using the new AirPods firmware update already, let me know if there's something else you found also. I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.